Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 12.
We are happy to be here.
Yes.
Happy to provide you some entertainment, maybe as you are staying home.
Yeah, hopefully entertainment, and also hopefully staying home.
On both accounts.
Yeah, crazy times, but we're still playing games. We still are podcasting.
Whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
we're here for another installment.
No, we've been having a lot of fun playing games. We have been staying home more than normal because of this coronavirus. We live in Arizona, so we're not officially locked down, but we have taken the last...
As of this recording.
That's true. But we have taken it seriously, and we haven't really gone out
Yeah.
very much. Only when we need to.
Yep.
I'm working from home. The kids' schools are closed, and
Yep.
we're making it work, much like hopefully all of you guys are.
So, that might come up later in the episode, I think.
Yeah.
Let's jump into what is up with us.
Yeah, I mean, other than that...
That's a huge other than.
NBD.
Yeah.
Like I did mention, we are playing games, and I'm working from home, so I'm still like on the computer looking up game information and just kind of following the pulse of board games, if you will.
He's following the pulse. That's very technical.
Yeah, it's not very. But a couple things that I thought were very interesting and cool that actually just today, Fantasy Flight announced some new Arkham Horror, the card game products. Now, we don't have this game.
We did.
We did, and we may have bought it too soon in our game life or something. We bought it fairly close after it was released, but we also just bought a ton of Mansions of Madness right before that too, and they were very similar to us. Mm-hmm. So that one didn't last, and I actually traded it for something else, I think.
Yeah. At the time, I think there's still quite a number of investigators that were the exact same.
Yeah, and I think that was the big deal for us. It was like, well, if I'm going to be Preston, whatever his name is, like, you can do that in Mansions of Madness or the card game. Like, we'd rather do it in Mansions. Mm-hmm. Maybe now that's different. They just released a new product that is very similar to the hero packs from Marvel Champions. So you can get an all-in-one investigator pack for Arkham Horror, the card game.
That is cool.
Yeah, and it has everything you need to just jump into a game and start playing. Now, that's assuming one of your friends has the core set.
Okay.
So
yeah.
if you were wondering, hey, I need to jump in, but I don't want to deck build and do all this stuff, which you and I don't.
No,
we don't enjoy that at
yeah.
all. This is a good entry to that game.
That is a neat little twist they put on.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I feel like it makes me more interested in the game now.
Sure.
Because I don't have to sit and figure out what goes with this person. These investigators are brand new to this game. They haven't been in any form before. So everything's new. They have classes. See, like, I know nothing about this game. They have classes like Guardian, Seeker, Survivor, and there's like different ones for each one of those. Mm-hmm. Not really sure what that means. I can guess, but if you're familiar with it, you probably actually know that these are out there. But I thought it was cool as a non-player. We're always looking for ways to get our friends more interested in games, and this got me interested in this game.
Nice hook, Fantasy Flight. They are very good at knowing when to exploit things for money.
Yeah,
which I think is that, bravo.
Yeah, that's right. So I thought that was very cool. And then what else is going on? There's not much more than that. I'm always looking at Kickstarter.
That's been a theme of your...
Quarter 1 2020 has been crazy in a lot of ways. But in terms
games?
of in terms of board games, I felt like at the end of last year, I distinctly remember saying this or thinking this to myself. It's like, well, I don't know anything that's coming out, so I guess I'll just kind of coast until summer when Gen Con happens. And then Kickstarter comes out with some amazing campaigns and some really cool games that are coming out, with the Oath game that we've talked about, Marvel United, which we've talked about, which I did cancel, by the way.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
no?
let's just talk about that quick. They did something funny, which I didn't agree with. Obviously, I canceled. They announced after the campaign that the retail version of the game was going to come out in August of this year. Now, with all the COVID-19 stuff going on, I don't know if that's still happening. But what was really strange was the retail was supposed to be announced or released in August, but the Kickstarter version, you'd have to wait until March of the following year to get the full Kickstarter experience for that game. I didn't like that.
Yeah, that seems a little bit wet.
And they gave me the option to split my shipment so I could get the core set in August. But then I'd also have to pay in March to have all that extra stuff shipped to me. What if the game's not good? What if
between August and March, what if you're like, I'm not really excited about the extra shipment?
I wouldn't be like, if it's good, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But if it's good and I just wait till August, someone will say that and I'll just buy it.
Right.
And then I realize, well, I don't need all this extra garbage. It's probably not garbage, but you know what I mean. Like, there are so many extras.
Yeah.
So I decided to get my money back.
So we backed to Kickstarter in Q1 and we unbacked it.
Yeah, we're on a roll.
Q1. That is interesting. Okay, sorry. So there's been a lot of good Kickstarter games, is what you were saying.
Yeah, it's just hard to keep up. And I feel like all the big games right now are on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's just because companies typically wait for the summer with Gen Con and they do their big releases at that time. But I feel like there's a lot going on there. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to purchase them all because what we talked about before, you buy it now to get it later, which is hard to do.
There's a pro and a con to that.
Yeah. What's up with you?
What is up with me? Okay, well, I will say that I've been playing, as I've mentioned before, some more solo modes of games. So Root has been on there.
Lots of Root.
Lots of Root solo, because now they introduced the mechanical marquee.
That's right. We picked up the expansion, the Riverfolk expansion, mm-hmm. which is the first expansion for that game, and it came with that solo mode.
So I can play against a mechanical version of the cats. And that has been piquing my interest. I haven't won yet, but they are very overpowering. Also, side note, I've looked up a few just rule clarification things for I typed something into Google, as you do, and then it usually kicks me to a BGG forum.
Yeah.
And those are great for answering my questions quickly. But what I've noticed is that I think there's quite a few people out there playing this game incorrectly.
You think so?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not knocking them for that, because I think Root is very hard to understand.
Oh, it's super difficult.
So,
at least for us.
Yes, I really question people that have beaten that find continual ease and success in winning in solo mode.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're doing things properly.
Yeah, or they're just better at games than us.
Maybe.
They probably play quite a bit more.
I'm a rule follower, so this is intriguing to me. So the whole point was not even Root of my news. My news was that a solo mode of Abomination was just released by official Plaid Hat Games. It's available now, not for purchase, right?
No,
it's free.
It's a PDF from their site.
Yep. So you can just play with Abomination, but now they have a solo variant. So I am super excited to check that out. As soon as I get a minute, maybe we'll just record real quick and then I'll go play. No.
Yeah, I'll take the rest of the show and you can go play.
Okay, so if you don't hear from me anymore, I'm just in the background playing solo.
No, that's a good thing. I think you should update our listeners on how that is next episode. I think that'd be really cool.
Yep. So I will. And then that brings me to kind of like the bigger question with COVID-19 and all that's going on. We have not a problem, but an issue that's come up is we thought it would be a little bit easier than we've discovered it is to play games with friends. We thought, we'll just use a tabletop simulator and it'll be easy, and it's not quite as easy as we thought because it's just not the same experience, and we're running into little like logistical issues of everyone having a copy, and if you're playing with two couples, let's say, you don't really want to be playing on your own device separate from your couple you're at your house with.
Yeah, and I think it kind of just bumps up against with the core reason probably why we started playing games, and that's just to like hang out and talk to each other. And I've tried so many different board games, the digital version, the phone version of whatever game. And it's like, oh yeah, digital version of Scythe. Like I have a beta for that.
Yeah.
I've played it for a total of 4 minutes. It's just not, I'm just like, this is dumb. Like I just want to play actual Scythe.
Because you want to be around the table with people.
In pieces.
That's
huge.
You want to hold the physical pieces.
So
Absolutely.
that's been interesting. I know a lot of people do it. They play games over Skype or Discord or whatever with webcams, and like Angela said, tabletop simulator. We just can't get into it.
No.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that later.
Yeah, that'll probably be our question of the week, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, get ready. Start writing down your answer.
But another great thing that we did want to circle back to, in our last episode, we talked about Keyforge. Mm-hmm. We love Keyforge. We have a lot of fun playing Keyforge. So much so that we thought 2 of our listeners should also play Keyforge.
Yes, and not just play Keyforge, but get someone else to play it with them.
That's right.
With a 2-player starter set.
Yeah, so we had our big contest last week, and we just want to thank you again, everybody who entered.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
60 entries.
Woohoo!
Which was awesome to see. Honestly, way more than I thought we'd have.
Christian's always the Debbie Downer.
The pessimist.
The pessimist.
I thought there'd be like 8 people that would sign up, and the odds would be really good that you'd win one. But
yeah, the odds would be ever in your favor in that case.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we just want to give a shout out to our 2 winners. Their Instagram are Sword and Board Games and Board Games and Brews were our 2 winners.
Yes, congratulations, guys.
Yeah, we sent those out this week, and we hope that they get to you soon so you have something to do if you're stuck at home.
Yes, and it is, you know what? It's truly better to give than to receive, because I was so excited to send those out.
I know. You took a picture of boxes at the post office.
I took a picture. I was the one who went to the post office, so I took a picture of the 2 boxes, and I said, Christian, you send these to...
Put these on your story.
Put these on DMs to these 2 winners so that they know their packages are going out. And Christian's like,
I'll just
okay.
Message them.
So I was very excited. Christian was excited, but he doesn't show his emotions as outwardly as me.
Yeah, that's true.
So very excited for everyone that entered. Thank you. And for the 2 guys who won, have fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing this contest. I hope we have the opportunity to do more in the future. No idea what that would look like. So
yeah,
stay tuned for news.
Giving away the whole Mansions of Madness collection.
Okay, that's too much.
No?
No, probably shouldn't have said that. We're talking about a game this week that's not Keyforge.
No, should we give them some clues?
Sure.
Well, that wouldn't really work because they've already read the episode.
Yeah, they just download it. Yeah, it's not live. No one's listening right now, Angela. We're talking about Quacks of Quedlinburg. I can never say it. Quedlinburg?
Quedlinburg?
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Okay, we will be back.
All right, guys, welcome back. We are talking about Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Woohoo!
Quedlinburg.
Quedlinburg.
Yeah.
You just got to say it fast and with confidence, and then it's good.
I'm gonna call it Quacks.
Let's just call it Quacks for short.
All right, Ange, tell us about Quacks.
Okay, Quacks of Quedlinburg is a 2 to 4 player competitive press your luck game. Each player is going to take on the role of kind of a pseudo witch doctor, maybe, making a potion and trying to add the best ingredients to get the highest score without their potion exploding.
Yeah. It seems like a crazy idea if you just heard that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The press your luck concept, for those of you that are confused and never heard that phrase before, it's like blackjack. So you're just trying to see how close you can get to a line without crossing it. The mechanics of this game, you're trying to see how many points you can score in your potion without going over 7 usually, unless a game mechanic makes it more.
Yeah, so every ingredient is colored in this game. The ones you do not want are white.
They're white and they have numbers associated with them, 1 or 2 or 3.
Yep.
And so if you get a total sum of 7, or more than 7, I should say, then your potion has exploded.
Only on the white
ingredients. Yeah. So you're pressing to see how far you can get to that line without crossing it. If that didn't make any sense, just think, let's make a deal, or a game show, deal or no deal. Like, how far are you going to take it?
Yeah, or even blackjack. You want to get as close to 21 or 21 without going over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's
everyone out there is familiar with the concept of press your luck, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to break down the game in our usual style.
Let's do it.
Let's quack it up.
Quack it up.
All right. Ease of setup and tear down. Christian, start us off.
It's got a lot of chips and tokens, which was awesome to open and punch all of them out.
Oh, so satisfying.
Throwback to one of my favorite things to do when I buy a new game. But yeah, there's just a lot of different tokens that represent the ingredients, and all different colors and different numbers. Everybody has a player board. There's cards involved. There's little potion bags that you put all of your ingredients in, because when you don't know which one you're going to pull out, otherwise you just purposely not pick the white ones. Mm-hmm. So you blind draw in these potion bags, and you have to set them up to a specific starting, not a hand, but starting bag each time. And I never remember what it is. You probably do, but it's kind of got a lot going on to get started.
Just, yeah, I mean, there's rubies, there's player cubes and markers, there's round markers, there's a die, actually.
Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. Everything that has ever been in a board game is, well, there's no spinner.
There's no spinner. Oh, dang. That's too bad.
No, but some of the better games take some of everything and they put it all together.
Yep.
And that's definitely what this one does. There's just a lot going on to get started.
So before you're like, whoa, that sounds like too much or overwhelming, I will say the things that make it redeeming in ease of setup and teardown is that it's not difficult to remember how to set it up. So I think of a game like Rebellion, for instance, where I have to constantly, every time we set it up, even if I just played it the night before, I have to look up in the rule book how the setup goes again.
Because how many ships, how many
It's
places.
unrealistic to expect someone to memorize that. I don't feel like that way with Quacks.
No.
You can memorize it. And even the potion mixture at the beginning that you were talking about is on the player board.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So it's given to you right there. So everything Christian said was true. But if you're tempted to think that's overwhelming, I would say it's probably easy medium.
Yeah, it's like
3 out of 5.
Yeah, right in the middle of the road. It's not crazy difficult. It's also not crazy easy. So it's a good middle 3 out of 5.
Totally.
Yeah. Let's go on to our next category.
I would love to.
What is it?
How accessible is learning to play?
Okay, why don't you start this one?
Okay.
Because I think we have different opinions on this.
We have just a different angle of viewing it, maybe.
Yeah.
When I think of this category, I tend to think of non-gamers mostly. Like, if we brought over a non-gaming couple, how accessible would this game be to them? And I feel like it'd be pretty easy. Not because they would necessarily not because it's simple, like there's stuff to remember, but there's not gaming terms like exhausted or, like Keyforge has a lot of gaming terms.
There's not a lot of terms. Yeah, there's not a lot of terms that are specific to this game. You just basically pull out an ingredient and you put it on your board.
Yeah, and the mechanics are very simple. There is a lot to remember, so that's not necessarily specific to board gamers, although I think board gamers usually, if someone plays board games a lot, they have exercised their brain in a way that they are used to remembering multiple things at one time.
Sure.
So I think board gamers would find this easy to learn to play.
Yeah.
But even a non-gamer might have exercised their brain in that way with other things. Maybe their job is specifically something that does that or remembers a lot of things at once. Ooh, like food service. Maybe they're the waiter that doesn't write down your order, and you're like, "Are you sure you don't want to write that down?"
Just stresses you out, and you order a burger, and you're probably gonna get fish and chips.
Or I'm like, 5 people just gave you their very specific orders, and you didn't write any of that down.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a little bit harder from my opinion than what Angela is describing. I feel like once you do what Angela says, and you have learned the basics. If you were to play again, you'd almost need to relearn it because there are so many variants that you can throw at it. So like there's there's a possibility of new rules every time you play. So that can throw in an extra layer of difficulty if you're playing this more than once, like we have. Mm-hmm. Just extra, like you just said, extra things to remember.
Yep.
Which make it a little bit more difficult, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And you didn't mention this, but one thing in maybe favor of your point of view is that every different colored token means something different.
Yeah.
So
even on the first time,
it's a lot to remember.
Okay, I drew a green one. What does that mean? Well, actually, it doesn't matter now. Green happens later. Okay, I drew a red one, so that happens later too, right? Well, no, you actually have to do that one now. Like, there's a lot going on that could definitely slow it down with somebody who's learning, but
I could see that.
It's not one of the hardest games we've ever learned.
Oh, no. And I think the idea of press your luck is appealing to most people because they already get that concept. Just from blackjack or game shows or whatever.
I was going to say there's no pressure in this game, but there is pressure built into that mechanic.
I will talk about...
Never mind.
I'll talk about pressure.
That's really funny.
Okay. That we'll probably say it's a medium. How accessible is learning to play?
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 out of 5.
Okay.
I'd say that, yeah.
I'd tend more towards the easy side of that. Christian would tend more towards the medium side of that.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to compare this to... We recently had people over, and we talked about this before, and we tried to play Wingspan. Well, we did play Wingspan, but it didn't go as well as we thought it was going to go.
The teaching didn't go.
The game went fine.
Yeah.
The teaching. Mm-hmm. And so, is this one harder to teach than Wingspan? I don't think so.
No.
So I think we're always looking for that one game that's like, this is the game that's going to get people interested in what we do. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Is this one it? Maybe. Hopefully.
Maybe.
I hope it is.
Well, that maybe not too different in our opinions then. Okay. How immersive is the experience?
Yeah, immersiveness. This one's not very immersive.
Explain. Tell me more.
I feel,
Christian.
we've had 2 in a row where the immersiveness has not been out of this world, which is fine. Yeah. There are places for games like that on our shelf. Not everyone has to draw us in and we get lost in whatever magical land.
There's books for that, people. You can get lost in books.
It's just not very immersive. There's really no story. When I think of immersiveness, I think of the story that's going on the board, what other people are doing, what cards are being drawn that affect everything.
Or a character.
Yeah.
To be a character.
Yeah, like I am Greg. I'm not, Greg the Potion Master. Like...
What's Greg's history?
Yeah.
How long has he been making potions? And we're making fun of that, but those are the elements of games that we think are really immersive. Mm-hmm. They have usually on a player board, they have some sort of story to that character that you...
Yep. But this one just kind of throws you in and just says, hey, you're a potion master person, and you're just making potions, and the best one wins. Yep. So it doesn't really pull you in just on that. But it does pull you in with the art and the components.
Yeah, the components, there's some good things there. Yeah, I'd say the pros maybe, or things in favor of it being immersive, it's the player board is a cauldron. So you're like actually working on a potion.
That's true. It looks like you're stirring it too because of the way it's laid out.
The tokens have fun art that look like ingredients, like beetles or strawberries or pumpkins.
Yep.
The rubies that are another component in the game that allow you can trade in your rubies to maybe get a better head start at the start of your turn.
Yeah,
That's what I should
they
say.
upgrade stuff for you.
Right. So the rubies are realistic. They're not just cardboard punch outs. The bag itself, like that everyone gets a drawstring bag to draw out of, that was neat to me because, I mean, you could have just given everyone like a opaque cup, right?
And
like
you just shake it up like
zombie
Yahtzee,
dice.
like shake it up like
yeah,
Yahtzee.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. It makes it. The bag is great because it's hard. It's really hard to cheat. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could pull out two and be like, "Oh, I don't want that one," but if everyone pulls out one at a time, then
yeah. But do we really feel like we're at the market buying ingredients for our potions as witch doctors or quacks, so to speak? No, not really.
No, I was thinking about this earlier, and I think one thing that would maybe would have helped for me is I get stuck with the established worlds that I know. So like if this was like a Harry Potter Hogwarts potions class game, like maybe that would have done it a little bit more. You know, like your board is like, okay, you're Harry, and then if you play Harry, you have a special ability that only Harry Potter has that changes how he could do his potions. And if you're Ron or whoever else would be in the game, it would change that way. I don't know if that... I feel like that might help.
And we talked about that before with Keyforge, too.
Yeah. But I'm not saying I don't like the world that this is in. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's cartoony.
We just wish it was more built up.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be... It doesn't have to be from an established world. I'm just wondering, would that have made it better?
Maybe,
but it's a great game. Like, it's not like...
It is.
It didn't win all these awards because it wasn't Harry Potter.
Right. That's true. All right. So is it fun? And this can mean many different things, so we'll try to explain what we are meaning when we say it's fun or not fun.
Yeah.
So should I start it off?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I think this is fun in general, and fun in the classical sense. Like there's adrenaline, anticipation, laughter, darn when things don't go your way.
Right.
Agree or disagree on that one, Christian?
No, I think it's good. I think there's always a little bit of tension on not knowing what you're going to get next.
Yeah.
So
a little bit.
That's always fun. I feel, well, like, as you get more and more ingredients on your board, you're just like, you're doing quick math in your head. You're like, oh, man, I think I have 5 ingredients left, and 3 of them are bad.
Yeah.
So do I want to draw another one? And then I look across the table and see Angela scored more points than me. So it's like, well, maybe I should because...
I'm already losing.
Yeah.
This round, I mean. Yeah, it's been overall fun. I will say there's a phrase we kind of use with our kids that it's super profound. Everyone get ready to write it down. We just say, it's fun till it's not fun. Like, our kids will be, like, spinning around and acting crazy and jumping off things and, like, they're giggling and having fun. And then all of a sudden, like, we'll say, hey, you guys are kind of acting crazy. Someone might get hurt. We don't care. And they'll just keep going. And then all of a sudden, someone smacks into the corner of a table.
Yeah, or later on, they're like, my tummy hurts.
My tummy hurts. And we're like, wow, well, you just spun in a circle 20 times. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And remember how we warned you? It's fun until it's not fun.
Yep.
And that's kind of how this game is. If you get a one round or two or maybe three in a row where your luck is just not, like, luck is not on your side, this can be not fun real quick.
And that happened to you a couple times, right?
I remember it happening to you once.
Did it?
And then, yeah, and then I think there was a point where it was maybe the second to last round, and I knew I was already losing in terms of victory points in the overall game. And I just knew I couldn't catch up after the luck hadn't gone my way that second to last round.
Right.
And it was just like, ugh. This was really fun until it's not
until it
fun.
Wasn't. And that one just happened to be at the very last round of the game. Mm-hmm. So it's like it was good, and then it wasn't.
But that, I mean, we say all this just to discuss it, but honestly, that means the game is doing what it's designed to do.
Yeah, you pressed your luck.
It's pressing our luck,
mm-hmm.
and it just didn't. I didn't get lucky. Dang. Okay. Last category is?
Yeah, is it worth it? We like to look at the cost and the replayability. Angela looks at this more literally than I do, based on the price and how many times we've played it, which is always funny for me because I don't think of it that way.
This is how, well, okay, I know it's maybe mostly male-dominated field board games. But I'll explain something then to all you males. And if there's women listening, maybe you can nod your head in agreement.
Or write in.
Yeah, or write
how about
in. This is how I explain my clothing purchases to Christian. Because price per wear, my clothes are cheaper than his by far. Because I might buy some jeans that cost $150.
I hope you didn't do that.
But I wear them all the time. So price per wear, they are very cheap jeans. Whereas Christian will be like, oh, I got these shoes for really cheap. But then they break the fifth time he wears them. And I go, those were not cheap shoes. Those didn't serve their purpose. So this category is like that for me.
Yeah. And that's fair. So how do you rate Quacks?
Well, I think it's worth it. So I actually don't know the exact cost off the top of my head because you ordered this one.
Yeah, it was like 50-ish, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Standard board game price.
Yeah. So, and I'd say it's worth it with that. There are also variants that Christian alluded to before. There's different recipe chapters, so you can be on chapter 1 of all your recipes or chapter 2 of all your recipes. Chapter 3 or Chapter 4. So you can vary the game that way. You can also vary your player board by flipping it over to the other side.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
And so you could mix and match those two different variants or just do one of the variants and not the other one. And even if you didn't vary it at all, those two ways I described, no game is the same just because there's so much randomness.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it, and I think it's really fun and worth it to me are almost the same category. I say that all the time. But yeah, I think it's totally worth it. For me, it's a really chill game. Like I don't feel a lot of pressure when I'm playing this game. I feel a lot of pressure when I'm behind to try to catch up. But it's not like Rebellion where one wrong move and you could lose the next 4 turns. Like it doesn't. Every move doesn't affect the next one, really. Like, it's just kind of, you get what you get, and then you react to it, and that's probably why I like it. There's not much planning.
We're going to get into that probably in the next part, but yes, what he just said is very key to what we learned about each other in our marriage. But then there's one thing I thought of that I want to say about this game that I don't know which of our discussion points it fits under. So I'm just going to throw it in right here.
Let's just do it. Let's do asterisks.
Asterisk. It's category 6, miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
This game does a great job. I don't know, like keeping. So the way the mechanics are structured, the winners of each round get richer and richer. Mm-hmm. But the makers of this game incorporated a cool mechanic called rat tails, which keeps things very even in terms of everyone gets the same opportunity. Am I saying this right?
Yeah, so it's
trying
basically
not to
like
ruin.
if I am really far ahead of you in points, the goal in this game is to score a ton of points. Say I'm 10 points ahead. And so because you're 10 points behind, you don't get a 10 point bonus next time, but you do get a bonus that helps you get closer to me by the time the next round is done.
Yes, and that's key because the winner of each round gets to buy the most things or most expensive things from the market. So in a way, if there weren't this mechanic, the rich would just keep getting richer. The round winners would quickly become the game winners, and there'd be no way to catch up.
Yeah, and I have not fallen behind very far in this game, so it hasn't affected me. But there's been a couple times where you've had like 8 rat tails or just something wild to me, and then after getting that little bonus of those extra rat tail ingredients,
I didn't surpass you.
No, but you caught up. Instead of being 26 points behind, the next round you are now 4 points.
Yeah.
So it keeps everybody close.
It does.
So that at the end of the game, you kind of don't know who's going to win.
And not in an unfair way where you're like, if you're in the lead after a round, you're not like, what's the point of me even being in the lead?
Yeah.
Someone's just going to surpass me. It's not like that. Like, people still have the independence to mess up their own pot, and therefore this advantage we're talking about would be moot, kind of. But that is an interesting thing that I really appreciate about this game, and they did very well.
Yeah, I think it's great for new players too, because like coming into learning a new game, and the person who's teaching it hopefully has played it a bunch of times. The odds are, unless it's me, they're really good at that game. I'm just kind of good at a lot of games. So like they know how to play that game, and so it's expected to see them win, possibly by a lot. In this game, it has that built-in mechanic where I've played 100 games of Quacks. It doesn't really matter, because even if somebody falls behind, they can easily catch back up in 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah, you're never
out until you're out?
Yeah.
It's like you're fun until it's not fun.
Yeah. We'll think of a new pithy phrase to share with you at the next, like, quotes for you to write down in your life book.
But we did appreciate that. That was really neat.
Yeah, so I don't know where that fits in. Maybe in the fun factor. Something that kept it fun.
Yeah, and I think it's good for new players too. So learning how to play, like, I know learning a new game, you can immediately be like, well, I'm out of it. So what's the point? It's not fun anymore.
And maybe in addition to this miscellaneous category.
Yeah.
I'd say you said it's chill. And I think what you mean by that, I'm going to interpret this as it's very independent. It's like Wingspan in that way. So there's not a lot of, there's interaction in the sense that like, oh, I'm curious how you did.
Yeah. Because
that affects if I get to roll or not. But we take turns simultaneously and independent of each other. And
yeah, that's cool. That everybody goes at the same time. So you're not waiting for somebody, analysis paralysis guy. Everyone draws. They don't know what they're getting. And
yeah.
You get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Or you do get upset if you're me.
And then your potion explodes.
Yeah. So 2 little things to share at the end.
And I'll just say that there is an expansion for this game. I've done 0 research on it. I just know it's out there.
Is there a solo variant? I feel like that would be very easy for someone to concoct.
I'm sure you can just play it solo, and just do everything that you would normally do in a multiplayer game, but just by yourself and just go for points.
Yeah, but you need someone to press your luck against.
Yeah, but you don't. You're just pressing your luck against the number. Like the number of explosion. So if it's 7, you just play against that.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it's possible. It doesn't sound super fun to me, but...
Yeah, I'd have to explore that idea a little bit. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we're going to come back and talk about what we learned about each other and our marriage. This episode is sponsored by Show It. Hey Christian, why do we love Show It?
Well, we love it because we are terrible at designing websites.
That is true.
And we were able to make our site using Show It in a couple hours.
Yeah, if you're stuck in like some boring website template, you need to check out Show It and experience what they have to offer. It's really simple. It's drag and drop. And our website, if you've never been there, is beautiful, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, we use Show It to make it, and you can get started for free. Showit.co. Check it out. All right, well, that's Quacks of Quedlinburg. As we wrap up our game discussion, we always talk about us.
Yeah, well, you even brought up how board games are kind of about like interacting with people.
Yeah.
In the updates.
Yeah.
So we always like to say what it brings out in either each other's personalities or in our marriage in general. Mm-hmm. Okay. You want me to take this one, Christian?
Yeah, you're better at this one than I am. I just listen.
Just so you know, he does contribute behind the scenes to this category. So first thing we noticed about ourselves, I'd say I noticed right away that Christian's a go big or go home type.
Yeah.
He is well suited to this game.
Yep.
And he alluded to it before. What'd you say? How you get what you get and you have to react to it?
Yeah, it doesn't. There's no planning. It's you just pull an ingredient and it's like, okay, this is good. So then you move on. Okay, this is bad. It's not terrible yet, but then you just keep going.
So his personality is very well suited to this game. If you've listened to any of our other podcasts, I've said multiple times that I'm the planner. And so this game is real hard for me in terms of like feeling comfortable. I always feel a lot of nervous energy, like not projecting it on Christian, because as we said, it's like an independent game. So we're kind of like taking our turns at the same time. But like I'm on my side of the table and I just feel a lot of nervous energy about it.
But do you feel like you failed personally if you like go over that limit? Like if you push too far?
Yes. And you know what's funny is like I feel like the penalty for exploding the potion should be much more severe.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's huge in this game. And I was thinking about that, like to me this game is like playing poker for no money. Like if you play poker for no money, what's the like okay, like I'm gonna go all in or I'm gonna bluff every time. Like there's literally no point to like have strategy.
Interesting.
So like this one I feel the same way. It's like, well, if I go over, I go over. Most of the time I can catch back up because of that component, the rat tail component that we talked about earlier.
Right.
It's not a huge penalty. It can come back to hurt you if you go too far too many times.
Yeah.
But if it happens once or twice per game, which it typically does, you're fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, so he's fine. I get very internally. I'm not like, guys, I want you to get the right picture. I'm not like throwing things around the table like, this is driving me nuts.
She has a throw up bowl next to the table.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to bot.
I just get a lot of internal nervous energy about drawing the chips out of my bag. and because of that, I tend to play it safe and really conservatively on this game. I've learned after playing it multiple times that I need to press my luck sometimes. Otherwise, as you said, what's the point? But I do tend to have a lot of uncomfortable moments, whereas you seem to be very comfortable playing this game.
Let me ask you a question then. Coming from being a former math teacher and knowing the math and probability behind pulling a bad ingredient, does that factor into that at all? Or are you just...
In the beginning, yes. Like in the first 3 rounds, let's say. And then not because I can't, but because I just choose not to. I don't keep track after that.
Okay. I didn't know if that would help you be like, okay, so I am pretty safe to keep drawing right now.
It would probably help me feel like less nervous, but it would also take away some of the fun.
Okay.
If I'm sitting there calculating probabilities. So no, I let myself go in that way a little bit.
Okay. That's good.
And then another thing is that I don't know if I've mentioned it a lot, but I've probably alluded to the fact that I tend to
There's our dog.
not really enjoy games that are luck heavy.
Okay.
Because I so enjoy strategy. So when games are too luck heavy, I get very frustrated.
Yeah, you get mad.
But playing this game, it doesn't frustrate me. So I've been trying to analyze, like, so what is it that draws me back? Because on the surface, this seems very luck heavy. Is it because, like, I want to perfect it? Or
Which you can't.
Well, but I want to, like, get that 35. You know, I've never gotten the 35.
Like all the way to the end of
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it because that's still out there for me to get, and then once I get that, it'll be less enticing? Or is there just enough control present in the ingredients I buy and what they do that allows me to feel like the luck component isn't too heavy?
You are the true scientist trying to figure this out. You are the true potion master.
I am the true potion master. Thank you, Christian. So again, not a real answer there, but something that I've been thinking about is like, oh, why doesn't this game bother me? Because I've thought about other luck heavy games, like way back in the day. Remember Zombie Dice?
Yeah, I mean that's push your luck.
It's push your luck.
Yeah.
And I'll play it because I like to be around people, but I don't love that game because it's just
No.
I don't know.
Is Yahtzee a push your luck game?
Well, that's just a roll and write, right?
I guess.
So, no.
Okay. I don't know. I just popped in my head.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's the right answer.
Maybe technically it is, but I view it in a different category.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So those are our thoughts about what we learned about each other and our marriage.
Yeah.
And it's definitely got a place on our shelf.
Yeah, we've enjoyed playing it. I think we played it a lot in a very short amount of time. We kind of binged this game.
Which I love. Christian likes to,
I like to sip.
You like to sip the game experiences. It's so hard. That's why I play everything solo, because he's like, well, we just played that. And I'm like, yes, we just played that, and now we got to play it again.
I know. We got to play it to talk about it. I get it. And that's why we're here, and I've played a lot of Quacks.
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 All right. We will be back to wrap this up with some feedback. Stay tuned.
All right, thanks everybody who's made it this far. Let's wrap up this episode, Ange.
Let's do it.
Every episode we ask a question for our listeners. This episode we don't have any responses because we talked about the contest last time, which we mentioned at the top of the show. So again,
in a way, we did have responses.
That's true. Super shout out to everybody who submitted for the contest. We are super appreciative of that. We do have a question this week, and we'd love to hear feedback from you and responses. And we touched on this earlier. How are you playing games? Are you playing games during, whatever version and level of quarantine you guys may be in? Social distancing, have you heard it called physical distancing lately? No, because we still need this social aspect. We still need to be social.
Oh, that makes sense.
But we need to be physically apart from each other.
I like that, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So anyways, how are you getting through this time? Are you still playing a ton of games? Are you one of those who doesn't have a lot of games and you're just playing the same ones over and over and over?
Are you playing solo because of your living situation? Or maybe because your partner is not interested in games? No thanks, whether that's a roommate or a spouse or a significant other. Anyway.
Yeah, I think we asked about 50 questions in one just now.
Just basically, how is COVID-19 affecting your game life? Yeah, that's what I want to know.
That's what we want to know. We touched on ours. We're doing a lot. Angela's doing a lot of solo games. I've been reading a lot of books, which is rare for me lately. Just have extra time, so I'm reading. But we still take time to play with each other.
Yep.
And we have a good time.
We busted out Wingspan the other night, which it's been a good 2 months, probably.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah. And that was a close game. I think you won by 2.
I know.
Stupid birds.
Stupid birds. At least you didn't say stupid wife. It's fine.
That's very true. So let us know what you're doing during this time. And we hope everyone is safe and healthy out there.
We're thinking of you guys.
And we always are. Again, thank you for listening. We will catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.
Okay, Angie, you wanted to play a game.
I did. Let's see how many QU words we can say back and forth.
Without repeating.
You have to say one within 2 seconds or you're out.
Okay, go.
Queen.
Quit.
Quail.
Quick.
Question.
Quidditch.
Quarantine.
Quidditch.
Nope, that's a repeat.
Oh, dang it.
Thank you, Quacks of
I knew
Quedlinburg,
you would
for
win this.
such great QU words.